Today we're going to be taking a look at present worth value or present worth analysis, taking in consideration two alternatives that may have different lifespans. So what I mean by that is if you take this example, 5.4 from the Engineering Analysis 14th edition, you have a specific pump A and a pump B that are being considered of purchase, right? If they both have an interest rate, let me get rid of this. Okay, so if they both have an interest rate of 7%, which pump should the company choose? If the initial cost of pump A is $7,000, pump B is $5,000, the salvage, so basically like at the end of the life cycle, there's a salvage value. If you trade in your iPhone at the end of its period, so every 2 years or 5 years, whenever you get a new iPhone, you can trade in your old phone, depending on, how the condition of it, you can get back a certain amount. So this pump A has a specific salvage value that you gain at the end of the lifespan period of $1,200, and for pump B you get $1,000. So which one would you choose? In this specific example, we can draw a cash flow diagram for each pump, and for pump A, we're going to initially spend $7,000. So that's going to be a negative in the negative direction. We know that our interest rate is 7% for both of them, which is good, so we don't have to worry about varying interest rates just yet. And then we know that the lifespan of pump A is equal to 12 years. Okay, so now that we know that, we're going to take this point at point 0, and then we're going to fully finish the cycle of 12 years while gaining $1.2 thousand. We're going to gain $1.2 thousand at the end for a salvage value. So we lose 7,000 but gain 1,200 in the end. For pump B, it's a little different. So we start out like pump A, and $5,000 decrease in our pockets. But actually, we're gonna split this up. So in the first 6 years that this specific pump lasts for, so this would be at 6 years, we have to salvage it because it only lasts 6 years for $1,000, right? So we gain $1,000 after 6 years, but then we also have to buy another one, because if we're comparing two separate pumps that have different lifespans, this one lasts 12 years and this one lasts 6 years. In order to compare them, you have to take a common multiple, which sounds like, I don't know, it sounds weird, but if you remember back in elementary school, when you take a common multiple, you find, what these two numbers, 6 can be multiplied, you get 12, 18, 12, you can be 12, 24, the multiples of that number, and the least common multiple is 12. So the reason we do that is because this pump can last us 12 years. This pump lasts us 12 years, and pump B only lasts us 6 years. So we have to draw this one out 12 years in order to accurately compare it to pump A, right? So drawing a full lifespan comparison to pump A, we see that in the first 6 years, we have to now buy another one in order to fully last the life cycle of pump A, and then draw another 6 years out, and that puts us at what? Now we're at 12 years. So now our N is the same as pump A. So it's a little trickier, but we also gain $1,000, a positive 1,000 for the salvage value, right? But we don't have to buy another one, right? We don't have to go down and buy another one because we're at the end of the 12 years. We're just trying to compare them with the values that are given, okay? So setting these two up with pump A, we're going to have $7,000 that we spend to buy it. And then we're going to gain, after 12 years, a salvage value right, of $1,200. But then it's going to be a present to future because we're now looking into the future. This right here is a present to future. Okay? So if we're looking at the present to future with the interest rate being 7% and the amount of years being 12, that is what we can use to look at a table and find our value and find our numbers. And so we'll do that in a second, but if we look at pump B, it's a little different. Pump B, we have to buy it for $5,000. Then we gain an $1,000. Sorry. We gain $1,000 from the salvage cost, present to future, 7%. But then we're only, this value is looked at when 6 years has passed. So $1,000 present to future analysis, present to future, we're looking at how much this would cost in the present to future. It's a ratio. 7% in 6 years. So you look at the table, right? And we keep going. What else do we have on this table? So we have minus 5,000 again, but now this $5,000 isn't in the present, it's in the present future. But it's also still at 7% interest and 6 years have passed, right? And then lastly, we have the positive gain from the $1,000 again after another 6 years. But then we're going to look at the present future of this one as 7%. But instead of 6, it's going to be 12 years because we're now, where is this 12 sitting? Or where, where's this $1,000 sitting? 12 years from the present future. So it's a ratio with the interest rate, right, at the amount of years it's sitting at. So this is our fully finished equation here for both of them. And we're going to calculate this one as negative $7,000. And then we're going to add $1,200. And we're going to look at the table. And the table tells us this is at 0.4440, which is equal to negative $6,467. Okay? So we lose a lot of money from present worth of pump A. But then we'll look at pump B. And we'll see that pump B is negative $5,000 plus, and then we'll just take the $1,000, subtract it from 5,000, multiply it by the table value, 663. And so what I did here is I just looked at these two numbers combined, and so instead of doing 1,000 and 5,000, we can just combine these two numbers as being negative $4,000 at that specific time, So just a reduction way to easier to write it. And then we're going to add another $1,000, 0.4440, because that's at 12 years. And it makes sense because it's the same number as this one with the same interest rate. So the same interest table that we're looking at, just different values. All right. And then for this one, we're going to get that pump B present worth. Pump B present worth is equal to negative $7,221. Okay. And this one right here is going to be the pump A present worth. So with these two, we would select pump A. Thank you for watching.